Alright, let's take a look at this lap of Spa. Okay, here we go. Braking. This kind of dirt tends to always be on the track, so you can use that as a reference. But it's just before the 100. All the way down to first gear. And then quite a lot of steer and lock to try and sort of induce a little bit of oversteer right on the apex. And then obviously back on the throttle. Because you're in first gear, depending on your drive split, you might lose the rear a little bit on the exit, so just get the wheel back straight as quickly as you can. Cutting this apex as much as possible. I was leaving it in fifth here. A little bit of brake up to the apex, and then trying to get back onto the throttle as soon as we get to the apex. The track rules will open as soon as you load the track, and basically it's your inside wheels have to be on the curb. That's pretty much the rule everywhere. So that braking at the 100, slightly before. I think on this lap I go down to second. Third was working okay as well. Depends really what your problem is. So if you're struggling with understeer, probably better to go down to second gear. If you're getting loose on the entry, then maybe leaving it in third will be a better option for you. So I've talked about this before. This is like a compromise line. So as we take the left-hander here, using all the curb, you don't want to track all the way out to the exit curb because we're about to go right again. So the middle of the track is your new edge of the track. And then we're getting back over to the left to set up the next right-hander. The track limit is the wheels on this back edge of the curb. As long as you have tyres touching this curb, you're okay, but it cuts off at the end of the red and white curbing. So you can run up on the curb, but you have to have these inside wheels back on the track before the end of the curb. Okay, so braking on the 100, down to second gear. This sometimes feels like it's difficult to stop because it's quite steeply downhill. So you can, if you can kind of overshoot the entry and then cut back and get a run, but it's not really worth it because the straight after this turn is really short, so it doesn't gain you anything. So I would say the faster line is just to hug the apex all the way around. Again, not really worth exiting all the way to this curb because you're just going to want to get back over to the right again anyway. And it's a short run, so getting on the throttle a little earlier and being a little wider doesn't really gain you much because you're about to brake immediately anyway. Again, second or third, depending on what the car is doing. So if you're having a lot of understeer, second's probably going to be better for you. If you're getting loose, third. So that's still considered on the track. Obviously with the old system, the centre line of the car is beyond the curb, so that would have been an off track. Actually, in all honesty, it feels very lenient here now. I've never really had an issue with the off tracks at Spa before, and now that they've sort of relaxed them, it's pretty easy to not. There's a few places that you can go. Okay, so Puon, braking. There is no reference. It's probably like the 50. I have no idea what I'm using as a reference here. Possibly the lighter grass or the Marshall hut. This orange bit of fence, I guess, if you really want a reference. It's probably, for me, it's more of a sort of a feel, or possibly even that I'm getting to the top of the rev range. Sometimes when there's no markers, you can use a certain point in the rev range, like you'll get like an audio cue as long as you got the previous corner right. And that can be a pretty good reference, especially when you're in a rhythm in a race. So down to third for Puon. And then just being patient. Getting back on the throttle when you... so you can see here, I'm about sort of half throttle-ish. And then just one until I'm there, and get back on the third gear again. Same thing as with the complex at Lacombe. You don't want to cross the middle of the track really. You're always thinking about the next corner. So staying there. Again, this is not an off track. This is very close to an off track, but it isn't. And importantly, it would have been an off track had I had the left side tyres just touch this part of the track here. Again, I was using both second and third through here. Still haven't figured out which one's working better for me at the moment. But it's the same same thing as before, whichever's working better for you in your current situation. Maybe even towards the end of the race you might switch which gear you're using. Completely missed the apex there, but and then all the way down to first gear for the bus stop. You'll notice if you're using my setup, you will notice you get an awful lot of rotation right at the last minute. I think there's when you go into this dip here, it really brings the rear end of the car around. So you can brake quite late and sort of account for that. So going a little bit too hot and whip the car around at the last minute. Alright, that's a lap of Spa.